Hello and welcome. Today I want to be talking about carbs versus fat for energy and how it kind of works out with exercise and when you burn what. So basically all the food that you eat is eventually broken down into simpler forms, and these are proteins, fat and carbohydrates. So basically all these molecules, macromolecules, can eventually be broken down into energy, but the body prefers to use these two as the primary source. So your protein still can be used for energy, but it's less likely that it will be used over fat or carbohydrates. So basically when you're breaking down protein, it can either come from a dietary source, so when you eat food, or you also can break down your own like muscle tissue to provide the body with the necessary amino acids, or to provide the body with the energy. So basically today we're going to be talking about fat and carbohydrates, and they both can be used for energy, but they're used in a slightly different way. So your carbohydrates, basically all carbohydrates are eventually broken down into glucose, and then this glucose travels around the bloodstream and supplies energy to the tissues. So mainly this glucose will either be used right away or it will be stored. It's stored in a form of glycogen. So glycogen stores inside of your muscles or liver, and basically these are just simple sugars. And all right, I'm going to write down glycogen, and this glycogen can either be stored inside of your muscle or inside of your liver. And in your liver, it'll be mainly for when you go hypoglycemic, which basically means like your body is running low on sugar, and then liver will release the sugar into the bloodstream and allow the tissue to be able to use it for energy. And the glycogen inside of your muscles is there for basically when you carrying out a physical activity that requires the use of this energy. So now when it comes to exercising, basically glucose is mainly used during higher intensity activities. So fat and carbohydrates, they kind of mixed up when you're working out and when you're doing your daily activities, but there are predominant functions for each one. So basically the carbohydrates, the glucose, it's mainly used during high intensity and during anaerobic activities. So basically activities that where oxygen is not present. So when you're weightlifting and or you're doing your high intensity training, that's when your body lacks oxygen during these moments, and glucose will provide you with energy for that time. Other times is, mainly is just high intensity training. High intensity or weightlifting, that's when you're burning carbs. Now, taking care of fat can also provide energy. And once again, once we ingest a fatty meal, once we eat a fatty meal, these fats will be broken down into fatty acids, and they can also be stored away. And they're stored away in your fatty tissue. I'll just write down fatty tissue. Tissue, and this storage, again, it can be tapped into whenever you require this energy. And also all the fats that have been broken down from the meal, they can be used immediately if your body requires energy at that point in time. And when it comes to exercise, as opposed to your glucose, your carbohydrates, fat is used during the lower intensity. And this would be like you're walking, you're jogging, or steady state cardio. So basically any type of cardio where the intensity is not super high. Like even on cardio machines, you got like the fat burning zone. So some of them show you where the heart rate stands and kind of what heart rate you should be at to be in the fat burning zone. And that's fine. You do use fat during exercise, but I think that's one place where people go wrong, because you would think that when you're burning fat during exercise, that would be like an idea of an ideal situation for you. But basically what really happens is, what matters is at the end of the day, how many calories your body has burnt and how many calories have you consumed. If you consumed over the amount of calories that you've burnt, then you're going to be storing this energy, and usually it's going to be kept as fat. And each one of these molecules can be broken down into fat if there's a surplus of it. And the ideal state, if you're trying to control your weight or if you're trying to lose fat, is to be below the calorific requirements. Yeah. So if your body requires 3,500 calories a day and you're eating 3,000 calories, then you're going to be losing your fat, losing your weight. So I think that's the main place where people go wrong, because they think if they go for a steady state run, they burn in fat during the exercise, which leads to fat loss. And as far as this is not wrong, there are better ways to do that, because during high intensity training, so let me just write down HIIT, or even your weightlifting. Yeah, I'm just going to draw a little barbell. Even during your weightlifting, you are basically, although you're burning glucose, although you're burning carbs during these exercises, what happens is that you're raising the amount of energy your body requires at the end of the day. Because once you finish with the workout, you have to recover. And your body has been in quite a bit of shock compared to the steady state cardio, that you require a lot of energy post-exercise. So after your workout, you're going to require a lot more energy as compared to your steady state cardio. So basically, the main difference is, once you perform your like high intensity training or weightlifting, although you are burning glucose, your metabolism has spiked up for let's say 18 hours after that. So this 18-hour period is where you would be burning fat. You'd be basically in a fat burning mode. Sorry for the writing. Burn fat, yeah, for 18 hours after your workout. So again, although you're not burning that fat during the exercise, you're burning it after. And with the steady state run, you just burn fat during a workout. So you would just burn fat during a run, and then after that, none of this, you wouldn't elevate. So you wouldn't go down or up. Your energy would basically stay the same, instead of it being elevated and you burning fat further. So once again, like, you can lose weight with both, and whatever is your preferred choice. But in my opinion, high intensity training and weightlifting has way more advantages over steady state cardio. And that's it. So fats and carbohydrates, main things to remember: carbs are usually burned during a higher intensity, and fats are burned during a lower intensity. And that's pretty much it. Another thing that I would mention is the glycogen, the glucose stores inside of your muscles and liver, they don't last forever. So when you're working out, you may actually, after a while, decrease all these stores, and your body will start to shut down and run down. So you basically feel like you don't want to work out anymore. It's time to go home. And although your muscles maybe didn't get enough of a workout, the glucose stores will be gone. So during that time, I recommend doing ingesting intra-workout carbohydrates, but that's a topic for another time. So I hope this information helps, and if you like this video, give us a like, and I'll see you soon.